Hey everybody, Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf was on out front on CNN tonight talking about her favorite person, Donald Trump. President Donald Trump. Here.
Millions of people next week, even though a senior immigration official tells CNN there are no plans to do so.
Immigration officials say they don't know anything about a planned roundup of millions of people next week.
Well, they know, and they're going to start next week. And when people come into our country and they come in illegally, they have to go out, and everybody's seeing that.
Out front now, the mayor of Oakland, Libby Schaaf. And I appreciate your time, Mayor. Good to have you back on the show. So the president doubling down, saying he's going to go ahead and do this, going to start next week, roundup of millions of people. Do you think he'll follow through on his threat?
Well, Aaron, it's just more of his ruthless, reckless, and racist behavior. And this kind of mass rounding up of people is where civil liberties get violated. This administration's continued cruelty, separating families, placing children in cages, that is not my America, and I find it deeply disturbing, and I know that my residents here in Oakland share that view.
So Oakland is a sanctuary city. What will you do if the president goes through with his
President Trump ready to officially launch his re-election campaign? And so far,
in
it
the
sounds
past,
like a 2016.
I have warned my residents, but obviously the president has done that for me, so I'm not going to need to do that in this case. But my message is to not panic, but to be prepared. Everyone should know their rights and their responsibilities. And that is kind of the message for everyone. This president continues to try and distract us with his fear-mongering, with his divisive rhetoric, and we really need to hold him accountable for fixing what is clearly a broken immigration system.
So as you say, you don't need to warn your residents because he has already. Obviously, he's essentially announced an operation. Last year, though, he came out aggressively against you, threatened to prosecute you for doing the same thing in Oakland. Here he is.
How about the mayor of Oakland, where she tells 1,000 people to get going? Law enforcement's coming to get you. And this was all planned, and many of them scattered. What she did is incredible and very dangerous from the standpoint of ICE and Border Patrol. It's very dangerous. I mean, you talk about obstruction of justice. I would recommend that you look into obstruction of justice for the mayor of Oakland, California, Jeff.
So, Mayor, now he's doing what you did, announcing his plans to deport people who are here illegally. Is he being hypocritical?
I do find it a little ironic, but, you know, he's getting ready to announce his re-election bid, so clearly he's trying to whip up his base at the expense of good, peaceful citizens and communities like mine that pride ourselves on our diversity, our inclusion, and let me be clear, being a sanctuary city is fully legal. We are not breaking laws. We are not impeding the federal government. We are just using our local resources where we think it is much more appropriate.
All right, so that's a fair point. I want to ask you about what a senior administration official, senior immigration official, I'm sorry, Mayor Schaaf, told us today. This person said, quote, there is no operation next week to pick up millions, right, contradicting the president, but adds there are tentative plans for an operation next month in 10 cities. And they specify that these operations would be to pick up families who did not show up to their scheduled immigration hearings and have removal orders, right, that they've ignored. So my question to you is, do you think it's wrong to pick up an entire family and deport them if they skipped their hearing, didn't show up, and have removal orders that they've ignored?
We have a system of laws, and we have to have a functional immigration system. But we really aren't exercising what should be, for example, political asylum exceptions, true due process, if we don't provide representation for these families. When you are a mayor, you live in your community. You know these individuals. Their children go to school with your children. You sit next to them in church. You might remember the story of the incredible emergency room nurse at our public hospital who also worked with cancer patients and heart patients for decades, trying to get her legal status, but unsuccessful, and happily was able to return now under an H-1B visa. And that's only because she got the attention that got her the support she needed. So again, we say we have a fair and just immigration system. We have ample evidence to show that we do not. And while we have this broken system, we cannot terrorize good people that have been living in our communities, contributing, and really don't deserve to be ripped from their families, ripped out of the communities that they've called home. We need to fix this system, not use it as political volleyball.
All right, Mayor Schaaf, thank you very much. And next, the newspaper photographer who captured this chilling
Yeah,
photo.
that was Libby.
The report said.
And there was some problem with the CNN broadcast. That was the CNN broadcast. That wasn't anything, folks, that I had done. That was the CNN broadcast that had some sort of overlay of a track, something going on in the background that was obviously in the production room. I think that CNN needs to bring Libby back for another segment and get their sound problems, because it distracts from the message, right? And not only that, it's a little unsettling to have a national platform to make your speech about something ridiculous the president is threatening to do and has done. And next thing you know, your words are being diminished in a sense by background noise, background talk, and weird sounds. Anyway, subscribe to Zenny62 and stay tuned for more. See you.